We're about news, commentary, conversations, truth, liberty, and God. We stand for American values and our flag. We believe that the Constitution is a document that fortifies rights already given to us by our Creator. We will not apologize for our love of God and country, ever. We are Right America Media.
Hello. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Shadowband Podcast. I am Julie at The Pretty Patriot. You can find me on TikTok and Instagram. I'm here tonight with Julian, Blue Collar Intellectual. We're streaming live every Tuesday, 9:30. Facebook, X, ramtv.live, TikTok, Shadowband 603, and Right American Media. You can call in 833-603-8255. Julian, how you doing tonight?
Oh man, I'm doing fantastic. Did 2 shows today, wrapping up a third. I'm ready. I'm ready to go.
I'm grateful for you sitting in. Normally we have Tyler with us and Keith is in. Sometimes Julian is sitting in so kindly tonight. I appreciate it.
Oh, no problem. I always have fun being getting to hang out on with you guys. The last couple episodes of both episodes I did today were very, very heavy foreign policy. And then we got into like the assassination of the senator in Minnesota. So yeah, it's been a long couple days.
Some heavy stuff. Stuff. We hit on some things here, but we try to keep it light and try to keep it entertaining.
Wow. Oh, it's nice to this is winding down for me. So it's like I get to, talk a little shit, have a little bit of fun.
Absolutely. No, I'm glad we can wind it down a little bit. So you were talking a little bit about Iran foreign policy today. In the past couple of weeks, it's been absolutely fucking bananas with protests. We'll see a little bit of that coming up soon. Protests, bombings, people being mad at Trump, everything going on, people having their opinion about Israel, their opinion about Iran. Yeah. What did you cover on today? What did you talk about?
We got a little bit into all of it. I mean, of course, over just the past 72 hours, it's gone so fast. From Friday night, you got Candace Owens telling people to take a dishonorable discharge, and I'm like, no, don't listen to the civilian about the consequences of the UCMJ. A dishonorable discharge basically bars you from civilian employment. It's like having a felony or being a sex offender. An employer sees that on an application. They're like, no. Yeah. Throw that in the trash. And she's like, oh yeah, I'm sure they'll listen to your explanation. I'm like, no, the hell they won't. Arson is a dishonorable. The list of things for a dishonorable discharge you got to do is so ridiculous. It's so bizarre, and they're so grievous that it's like you'd be locked up 10, 15 years for everything that's on there. Like some of them are even death by firing squad. So damn. I'm like, do not take that advice from Candace Owens. She's a civilian. She has no idea what the hell she's talking
Candace
about.
Owens, we were talking about this a little bit earlier. It's crazy how far that woman has gone off the deep end. And I'll admit, I was somebody that I was all about her in the beginning. I thought she was great. I thought she was a positive voice. Things started to turn a little bit, I think, when she, Daily Wire. Yeah, when she was leaving
October
the Daily
7th.
Wire. Yeah. So when she was leaving that, things get a little weird and fishy. And I swear it's been downhill, like some of the Kanye stuff. So I've been very surprised about. And hey, Juan, real quick, can you hear me? Okay, just checking. Headphones, if you don't mind. A little So I was very, very blown away about what happened with her. It's pretty crazy. But to see her in an interview the other day with the hijab on, and just like, she's pulling a Kanye right now. To me, she's pulling a Kanye. She's going off the deep end. It's wild.
It's the problem with grifters in general is that the profit motive. People like this, they're not responsible for winning elections. They're not responsible for convincing voters. They're not responsible for registering voters and getting people out to vote.
Right.
Their only tangible is clicks, likes, retweets, shares, and subscribership.
Yeah.
And controversy sells. It's like sex sells. You have controversy and sells because it creates the engagement, and they all get paid off of engagement.
It's building the platform, and it's something interesting happening on TikTok and other social media platforms right now. After the whole situation with Trump going after those 3 Iranian spaces, going after their nuclear grounds, there were quote unquote larger MAGA conservative creators that were flipping out, going off the deep end. One guy was Never Woke, is his name on there. A couple other people kind of like going against MAGA, going against Trump, and saying how pissed they are. So now there's a speculation out there that, okay, is this a wolf in sheep's clothing? Were these people, in there? Are they just using the MAGA thing to gain popularity, get clicks, get views, get people, and using it as a shtick, if you will.
There's an unhealthy amount of that for sure.
Yeah.
Like,
it's like, are they plants in there? What are they,
Yeah. There's Trump strung together a coalition that is very, very unlikely for any GOP politician to be able to do. You had the health freedom people who want healthy food, and they didn't like the vax, and they came on, the Maha crowd. And then you have the anti-war crowd that came over with Tulsi Gabbard and stuff. And MAGA has been large in the anti-war and getting away from the military-industrial complex. So that's more of a natural progression, and I expected that because one of Trump's major promises in 2016, 2020, and 2024 was getting away from the forever wars.
Right.
But where it got irrational is the no war for any circumstances, period.
Right.
And then you see this anti-Jewish, anti-Israel factions start to spring up where I call it the Jew-spiracy theories. And they come in with the Israel is really running the world and they're running the United States and AIPAC. And I'm like, yeah, there are legitimate criticisms here of the power of AIPAC and outsized level of power. But are they outsized level of power because of the amount of money they spend? Because they're not even remotely the biggest lobbyist in D.C. Not by a long shot. But they have an outsized influence because a large portion of the right are evangelicals and Zionists, so they want to protect Israel. Right. So it's an ideological influence more so than a financial influence. And then you also see, you just see this faction, and you see a lot of people who are riding the wave, but you also see a lot of people who were just ideologically opposed to it, and they assumed, rightfully so, they have a little PTSD from George Bush and Obama and Biden and Clinton and every president before them who constantly engage in forever wars and stuff and wars of attrition. And I'm saying this as an Iraq veteran who hates the military-industrial complex and can't stand forever wars. This is not the same thing. These are surgical strikes, or, I just had Colonel Rob Maness on, and we were talking about this, like these were precision strikes. And there wasn't supposed to be boots on the ground or prolonged contact or anything like that. And I think the fear everyone was expecting was that we were going to get into another forever war, that the backlash was going to be Iran trying to attack the United States, or us getting on the ground to change regimes. And Trump's been consistent. He doesn't want a regime change war.
Right. It was strategy. It was all strategy. It was even dubbed, the 12-day war, right, as he's calling it. I blame the media, right, for a lot of this. I blame different media sources, because what he's doing, all it takes is a social media influencer, a news outlet, to go out there and misconstrue what's actually happening. And we're at a point in time where people just need to hear headlines, they need to hear things, and that's all it's going to take. And they're going to run with that ideology, and they're going to go with that. So
there's not enough people doing research, but a lot of people talking.
Well, people are exactly. People are lazy. They're not going to take the time and the effort to be like, this is what MSNBC MSNBC is saying. I'm going to look more into it. What does this really mean? They're taking everything, and this has been going on for years now. We've been seeing this for years and years and years. Taking something at face value, running with it, and then just being like, yep, this is it. This is what I'm going with, instead of knowing what it is. I see it on social media a lot, especially the last few days. You know, everybody losing their mind about, oh, Trump's getting us into World War III. It's World War III. And then, no, it's not. He's not declaring war. This isn't what he's doing. It was strategy, what he was doing, and that's that. But it's media, it's social media, and it's spreading that. It's like a game of telephone.
And there's also the ideological thing. Like, you have Thomas Massey, who MAGA overwhelmingly supported prior to this and prior to the big beautiful bill. And I'm a huge Thomas Massey fan. Like, he's one of my favorite politicians. And I'm not a fan of politicians, but out of all the politicians in DC, he's by far he's got to be by far my best. Another one is my boy Byron Donalds.
I love him.
He's
wonderful.
I can tell you in person, he is exactly the same dude as he is in front of cameras. Like, we'll have private conversations, and he will flat out tell a reporter to pound sand because we're in the middle of a conversation. So, like, coolest dude, and it, like, kept me sane multiple times because we've talked offline and stuff. But Thomas Massey, I'm a huge fan, but you got to remember Thomas Massey is a libertarian, and libertarianism is great as domestic policy. I don't think it necessarily meshes up as foreign policy, especially with the United States' 250-year history and our position in the world. You just can't undo that and be like, all right, we're completely pulling everyone back, shutting down all of our bases. Like, our name is on the bottom of vast majority of treaties in the world, all over the place. If we pull back and we disengage from the world and we were a true isolationist country, as so many libertarians wish we were, what you end up with is the collapse of everyone, like every other country in the world, which ends up creating problems for us.
Right.
I'm against friggin' I don't care about any other country in the world. I don't care about Israel, Iran, Russia, Ukraine. Just don't care.
Yep.
If they all got wiped off the face of the earth, you know what? I wouldn't care. To the degree, the collapse in economic issues that would face the United States, should we just pull back and disengage from the entire world?
No,
I don't want that, because that hurts American citizens. People just don't track how far. They're not going to track the consequences of those actions until they finally hit our doorstep and we'll be like, damn, that was a bad idea.
Right. And that's another thing that, instant gratification, people want what they want. Oh, let's just end it. Let's be done with this and that. And there is strategy behind it. And it's just not a boom, boom, boom situation. And I don't think a lot of people realize that or understand that, and how the whole world affects us.
Add in the algorithmic abyss of social media and how you can just spin down the rabbit hole on any different topic. So, which is where all the Jewspiracy shit comes from.
Oh, and that
is like, oh, I saw this video, this YouTube, and then I watched another YouTube, and then I read this book. And it's like you hear people go like, oh, have you read the Talmud? I'm like, you mean like the 170 different books of the Talmud? Like, you're telling me you read all of them? No, you didn't. No, you didn't. That's like telling me you read the whole entire Britannica Encyclopedia, all 50 editions of it. No, you didn't. You're a liar. That's like telling me you read the dictionary for fun. That's
the energy of a buzzword situation, right? It's like somebody learns something like about a certain piece. Oh, I'm going to use this. I'm going to use this in an argument. But then having nothing. Yeah, that's 99.8% of arguments are using buzzwords, having nothing to back it up, running with it. And then when you try to prove somebody wrong or challenge them, it's, I'm going to insult you now, or I'm going to talk shit to you now.
That's why I'm all about nuance. All about nuance. So rather than use the prescribed talking points from either side of the aisle, I make my own talking points, because I'm the only person who knows my mind, and I know normal people on the left, I know normal people on the right, I know normal people in the center, and I know how each of those people think, and I know if I want to get my ideas across, I need to craft my talking points and my language in a way that everybody understands. So if I'm talking to the left, I'm going to talk to you in the language that you understand. If I'm talking to the right, I'm going to talk to you in the language you understand. I'm going to use the talking points in the vernacular. My positions don't ever change, ever. I'm consistent on everything. I go, but how I explain it to you may change because I understand where you're coming from. We just don't listen to each other to understand. We listen to each other to retort.
That's a problem with everything nowadays, right? Everything is so black and white. It's cut and dry. There is no hearing somebody out. There is no having, not completely, but for the most part, there is no having these conversations with people.
Not anymore.
And having it be civil. Like, I would say in the last 20 years in politics, things have like gone from 0 to 60. And, your neighbor, right? You could oppose what you think, or what they think about a certain issue, and you could go on about your lives. Now, if you're a liberal and your neighbor is a Trump supporter, you're screaming at them, you're ripping their flag off their yard. Like, it's very, very cut and dry. There's no middle ground with anything anymore. I don't even think moderates exist anymore for the most part.
Dude, I just lost a friend, a guy I served with, guy I deployed with. Like,
terrible.
Like, I look at the guy, I'd take a bullet for him tomorrow. Like, and just because I hold a different political position, I'm like, look, there's only one way to read the Constitution in the text that is there, in the context of what it meant when it was written.
Yes.
That's the only way to read it if you're trying to understand it properly. If you're reading it any other way, you're wrong.
Right.
I'm like that. I'm like, and I understand the idea of wanting it to mean something else so you can justify something else, but that's dishonest. That's like saying, I read my marital vows, and at the time when I took them, they meant this, but I want to go bang this person, this person, this person. So, today I might, interpret them a little bit different. I'm like, no, it doesn't mean that way.
The same thing as people taking Bible quotes and misconstruing the Bible to mean what they want it to mean for them and things like that. It's another issue with that. Like, if something, it is what it is, it's cut and dry, you can't manipulate it to like fit your agenda and what you're thinking and how your viewpoints on things. It is what it is, and that's that.
Oh, yes.
Your version is important.
I'm a Christian, and I read the Bible every night with my kids, but I am really, really, I have ire for the evangelical Republican influencers, or evangelical conservative influencers, mostly because I'm like, the Bible is not a system of governance.
Right.
It is a system of faith, and the responsibility is on the individual. If you want it to be completely honest, it's more libertarian than anything, because the choice is up to you. Your salvation is up to you.
Correct.
Nobody can gift it to you. Nobody can demand your salvation. If I put a gun to your head, you're not more faithful and you're not going to heaven because I put a gun to your head and force you to be a moral person. And I'm not going to heaven for putting a gun to your head and forcing you to be a moral person. That's not how it works. You have to choose to accept Christ into your life.
Absolutely.
So when I see like, this is a Christian nation, so we're going to use Christian doctrine as our laws, I go, no, you have to figure out a way to make that same justification for that law without using faith as the reason for that law.
Correct.
So argue it on constitutional grounds. Now, faith as a whole, especially Christianity, works commensurate with our national governance, with our Constitution, our Declaration of Independence. But politicians should be doing strictly what the government is allowed to do under the Constitution, because the government does not have rights, it has duties. And faith, church leaders need to step outside of proselytizing within their four walls, and they need to be involved in their communities to create the society and the culture that we want to see, in order to accent and be the foundation culturally in society that benefits and promotes liberty and can handle a liberty-based government.
Absolutely. And I think we were talking about this a little bit earlier before the show, and the difference being, you had an argument you had said you had gotten into somebody with today, right, about this country doing that with Christianity and comparing it to, with the Quran and Iran and the Middle East, and comparing the two, and it's apples to oranges.
Oh, yes.
Tell me a little bit about that argument that you had, and what were they trying to say, just so everybody can hear?
So it was, first, the guy, all these conversations around Israel, if you let people go on enough and you ask them enough questions, it seems to continuously default to Jew-spiracies. And my whole point to this guy, I was like, wait a minute. People have a conglomerate of different interests as to why, like, every time we get into a military engagement, there are different interests at play that all converge to get this outcome. And that happens on the Iran side or Israel's side and America's side or whoever's involved. And my thing is, Judaism is just as much a system of governance as it is a religion. Islam is just as much a system of governance as it is a religion. Christianity is not a system of governance.
Right.
It is a faith. And by the faith, you have a mandate to act in your life commensurate with the faith. So, like, I'm not responsible for your actions.
Correct.
So if you want to go get an abortion, I don't have any say over what you do. I can teach you the word. I can offer you better options. The best way to deal with that is to offer you better options as a woman to finish your education, get a job, be successful,
Offer
send you
support
to
of
the
some sort.
offer support of that sort. So, and to promote the alternative, which we do a lot more attacking of Planned Parenthood than we do of promoting the alternative, like pregnancy life centers.
Very true. That's very true. We do, attacking with Planned Parenthood instead of doing or putting boots on the ground and doing the work to educate women in that instead of going after them, who, mind you, what do they get 40% of their funding from government kickbacks as it is anyway? So what are we doing about that?
Exactly.
You know?
So that's where I think our focus should be.
Right.
Is like on the government kickbacks. By all means, focus on that.
Sure.
But don't legislate the human action.
Right.
Promote the better alternative, because 83% of women, when given alternatives, which is why my big fix for this is an informed consent bill. You sign an informed consent bill that you pass an informed consent bill that requires that the woman be notified of all these different organizations who are going to help you keep your baby and take it to term.
Wow.
And be successful without being on the government dole. Finish your education, get a job, all of that, whether it be faith-based or private-based. I have no problem with either. But you promote the alternative. 83% of women would have taken the alternative.
How do you go about reaching every realm of person, though? So say you make it faith-based, obviously there is a lot of faith behind.
There's a lot of private organizations too.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So you could target more women, or like reach, I should say, instead of target.
Oh yeah.
It's an amazing thing.
Reach them. And this is another big issue on the right. Marketing. We have a horrible marketing. We're selling liberty, people. We're selling limited government, transparency, accountability, and liberty. And yet people are willing to die for it, climb over the border for it. They're willing to kill for it. And we can't sell it to the people who already live here. And I'm like, at what point do we address the marketing issue here? Is like, how do you fail at selling the shit that people are willing to die for?
I'll give it to the left. Even though it's bullshit that they're spewing 99.9% of the time, they'll push it out.
And they're really good at selling it.
They've been good at it.
Oh yeah. They tug on your emotional heartstrings. I'm like, you got to combine the emotional heartstrings argument with the intellectual argument and be like, look, here's the marketing ploy for what we're doing. And by the same marketing ploy, I mean, hey, look, I understand what you're going through right now. I understand. It feels like you have no way out.
Right.
Everybody's pushing you in this direction, but you have other options. And the last thing I want is for you to make an uninformed option and then you regret it later, because we don't talk enough about the suicidal tendencies on the back end of this, or the depression, or the anxiety, or the drug addiction and alcohol addiction and all of this. And I want you to not have to go through that. I want you to know that whatever choice you make, you made the right choice for you, and you were given every option available to you to make that right choice. Now we're the good guys because what did we do? We supported women.
Right. Exactly.
We supported women instead of saying you need to kill your baby. Because that's what the left is doing. It's like, women's rights to do what? Kill babies. I'm like,
but how fucked is it that they eat that up?
Right?
Though? You know what I mean? They do. They eat that up so bad, and they're like, yes, this is women's empowerment. OnlyFans, it's women's empowerment. Abortions, it's women's empowerment. Let men in women's sports, it's women empowerment. But everything is completely fucking ass.
Did you see that interview with Bonnie Blue? The porn star that she slept with 1,000 dudes, and now she wants to up it to 2,000.
Yes.
I'm like,
yes.
First off, dudes, fix yourself. Who the hell signs up for that shit?
Are they getting
Like,
tested when they walk to like? That was my question. I've seen so much of Bonnie Blue.
God, that's
Unfortunately, are we
nasty.
testing these people?
Dude,
These
if I
thousands
were
of
the
people?
United States, I'd be like, look, we're barring your entry. You're a whole
Threat to society.
biohazard zone. Like,
Literally.
we can't have you in the United States. What do you got, herpetogonosyphilitis? Like, we can't allow you in the United States. But on the flip side of it, she says, I'm the pinnacle. The best ad the GOP could run right now against radical third and fourth wave feminism.
Don't end up like Bonnie Blue.
Dude, I would run the statement of her saying, I'm the culmination of everything women have been fighting for in women's empowerment. And I would just run that as an ad. I'd be like, Bonnie Blue slept with 1,000 men. Bonnie Blue slept with 2,000 men. Bonnie Blue did a lot, got kicked off of OnlyFans for being too much of a hoe.
That's
She
saying
tried to do
something.
a live petting zoo.
Yep.
I'm like, Bonnie Blue, this is your female empowerment. This is what they want for you. They want you to be childless, own nothing, and love it. They want you to be depressed and have anxiety, popping SSRIs and going to see a therapist so you can talk about your feelings in your safe space while you lament your life because you know what? Each one of those guys that's inside you takes a piece of your soul with them.
And their DNA is with that woman forever. Forever. She is a succubus. I'm convinced that woman's a demon of some
And
sorts.
men aren't off
Something
the hook
ain't right.
either.
No,
like, have some
no.
self-respect and respect women because there's no way you could do that and respect women.
Yeah, I had seen a video that this girl, her boyfriend was going to do the petting zoo thing, and she was so mad at Bonnie
nasty.
Blue, so pissed off. Be mad at your man.
Yeah, be mad at your
fucking
man.
for wanting to do that.
We have individual agency. Women have individual agency and men have individual agency. You are responsible for your own actions. Every individual is responsible for their own actions. You don't get to blame your actions on the white patriarchy or conservatives or Republicans. And you don't get to blame your actions on women and OnlyFans and social media. No, your actions are your own. Yes, you have a life and you are influenced by the life around you, but you have a choice as to how you're going to react to that shit.
And being anywhere near Bonnie Blue's hoo-ha would be impending doom. But speaking of doom,
I'd
I
fucking
think it's
throw
time
a
for the doom scroll.
crucifix and some holy water at that shit.
I think it's time for the doom scroll. Remember this, we get some videos Juan throws at us. We react live.
Let's
It's
go.
a surprise every time.
And then I'm like, this baby motherfucker better not blow up by nuclear shit, or I'm gonna go loco on this bitch. And then he blows up all my nuclear shit, and I'm like, call my generals. And they tell me, they're all dead, sir. And I'm like, assemble the army. And they're like, they're dead too, sir. So then I'm like, launch the friggin' missiles. And they're like, sir, they're gone, sir. So I'm like, what the fuck?
I just caught the tail end of that and heard, what the fuck? I was having a little technical issue.
That is golden. He's like, oh man, it is the most ratchet. So it's the most ratchet tone in syntax combined with the the Arab accent has me absolutely dying right now. But like, I wish I could hear a politician say some shit like that, especially a head of state.
I wish I caught. What was he?
He's talking about Trump dropping bombs on Iran. He's like, yeah, this motherfucker went and dropped bombs on my country. And I was like, what the fuck? I'm like, oh, this is freaking gold. Oh, that's some funny shit.
What else do you have, Juan? Hopefully I'll hear the next one so I can give my 2 cents. I apologize.
I love this guy.
I've never seen him before. I've never seen Homie before. I've never seen him.
So the first video I saw him was him in a Goku sort of spandex outfit like Dragon Ball Z and doing all sorts of doing all the stuff he's doing there. And I'm like, I'm a huge Dragon Ball Z fan, but I was like, you know what? Positive thing to you. You're trying to get in shape, hopefully. But I don't know, maybe something a little less tight. We're starting to see a little turtle head poking out there. Don't need to see that, bro.
I can imagine the comment sections, unfortunately, on his videos are probably not kind.
Oh no, definitely
They can't
not.
be good. They
No.
can't be good.
I couldn't imagine doing that, honestly, being the person who like debases yourself for profit. Like
For
when
views.
you see what was it? What was that trend going on? The like my 500-pound life or something like that. You had all these fat influencers who would
I missed that
like
one.
mega fat, like 400, 500 pounds, and they were all filming themselves gorging on fast food, like
Ew.
40 burgers, or gorging themselves on like 18 bags of Cheetos and 7 like Cokes and like all sorts of insane shit. And then but the downside of, all those people got famous because people love to watch other people do
And took
miserable shit.
7 to 10 years off their lives easily.
Most of them are dead.
Oh,
Yeah. Oh, like one
believe
after
it.
the other, they all died.
I
Heart
saw-
attack.
somebody in Asia that was like one of those like, you know, overweight like influencers, mukbang, I think that thing's called, where like people like eat or whatever, that they died at like 20 something years old from
Yeah.
it.
Every single one of them dies.
People do it for rage bait. There's one girl I'll keep scrolling past, and she's like, "This is what I'm eating for lunch today," and it's like a whole ass chocolate cake, and she sits there for the 60 seconds to monetize off a TikTok video, and she's eating the fucking chocolate cake like you're killing yourself.
Yeah.
Because people are going to engage with that. People like flip the fuck out. Rage bait, you know?
Then the sad part is they'll do another video and they'll be like, "Oh, people hate me and
Yeah.
they say mean things about me and they say I'm fat and they don't have body positivity." I'm like, "You are fat.
Yeah.
You're not just fat. You're not just obese and you need to work out for your own health.
Mm-hmm.
You're morbidly obese and you're probably going to die soon. Your bones are creaking out for
Mm-hmm.
help." Like, what the hell is going through your head? You debase yourself online. You expect people not to treat you the way you treat yourself.
I can't stand body positivity. I can go on a tirade, and I promise I won't, but I cannot stand. We've convinced so many people that it's okay to be unhealthy and a fat slob, and I can't stand it. And social media is a culprit for that. I cannot
Oh,
deal
yeah.
with it.
Like,
it makes me sick.
I hate being overweight the way I am right now. I just got cleared by my doctor to start lifting heavy weights again. And like my x-rays came back good and I can start, my back is doing a lot better. So I can start lifting weights and I can start losing weight. I diet consistently. I don't eat processed food, don't eat processed sugars, don't eat a lot of bread and stuff. I eat meat, I eat vegetables, I drink a lot of water. When I drink something, I drink a black coffee.
Yeah.
Like I don't eat sweets. I'm like, so now I can finally start working out again. I'm like, yeah, oh, I'm pumped.
Have you ever seen 1,000 Pound before we go to this next video, have you seen 1,000 Pound Sisters? Do you know who I'm talking about?
yeah,
Tammy and
it's
Amy.
so
This is like
gross.
the type of people that I'm talking about. They're just like sitting there gorging on it. And I feel like they think it's okay because, you know, they've since lost weight and they've since gotten healthy. But when that show first started out, if you don't know what I'm talking about, it's two sisters that collectively weigh 1,000 pounds.
Insane.
And it's just, we've enabled that in society. It's okay. It's okay to, like, you know,
I don't understand how
Scarf
anybody
down the shit.
could say body positivity. You haven't seen your cooter in a decade.
without a mirror in years. You get to lift it up and just.
There's no way to keep yourself clean living like that.
Speaking of which, this next video
Oh, shit.
looks awfully similar
He
to
once
Tammy's
jumped in
like,
the air
that show.
and got stuck. He once gave Dracula diabetes.
Oh, tough break.
His smartwatch thinks he's in a coma. His shadow weighs 24 pounds. He calls stairs hate crimes. He was baptized at SeaWorld.
Oh my gosh.
His fridge has PTSD. He falls asleep between meals and calls it intermittent fasting. When he accepts website cookies, they run out. It took a year for his memory foam mattress to forget him. When he stepped on a scale, it said, "To be continued." When he was born, he gave the doctor stretch marks. He was the reason double doors were invented. When he went to school, he sat next to everybody. He went on a diet once. The food pyramid filed a missing persons report. He is the fattest man in the world.
I don't always drink healthy, but when I do, I prefer Diet Coke. Stay fat, my friends.
Oh, shit. That is diabolical. That is absolutely diabolical.
Now, listen, in this country, it's not the easiest thing if you are, maybe lower income, misinformed, uneducated, just in general, to not, it's easy to go off the beaten path, right, with your diet, with the food that we have in this country. Like, you look at other countries, and there's stuff that we have in this country that's banned elsewhere. So I'll give people that, but it gets to a fucking point. It gets to a fucking
Oh,
point.
no. I take the opposite position. When I was homeless, when I was a homeless veteran, I still managed to eat healthy. I just spent my money. I just made sure when you have very little money to spend at all, you just make sure you spend it on the right things. I would buy raw rice, raw beans. I would buy raw meat. I would buy raw vegetables, and I just cooked them myself. I don't go buying a bag of Cheetos. There's no amount of I'm ignorant to health education that you can tell me that convince me that a bag of Cheetos is healthier than eating an apple.
You're right. Yeah.
So I look at it and I go, no. Even when my mom was poor and she was broke, she managed to feed us healthy food. So if she can do it, if we were poor and broke and my mom managed to do it by doing it right, it wasn't easy. But it's you know damn well when you pick up the bag of Funyuns and you drink Mountain Dew more than you drink water that it's not good for you.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I shouldn't have to. The government shouldn't have to legislate that Mountain Dew isn't allowed to be unhealthy anymore. You know damn well Mountain Dew is unhealthy. You know water is better than Mountain Dew. You know black coffee is healthier than 18 sugars and a bunch of simple syrup, and then a bunch of cream, and then some caramel and some chocolate and some diabetes. Like, when your food comes with an insulin shot, you know damn well that you're not eating healthy.
Do you know that I used to drink? I drink a lot of coffee. Coffee is like my thing.
I drink black coffee, like probably 3-4 cups a day.
So thank God I drink black coffee now. So I used to drink Dunkin' Donuts, like 2 large iced coffees a day. And I'd get the milk and like 2 caramel swirl. I never paid attention to it. And I'm like, damn, I'm getting a little chunky here. Between 2 large iced coffees that I was drinking every day, it was like 700-800 calories. So now I drink black coffee, cold brew. That's all I drink because it like made me sick once I knew that. And I never thought about it before. It's crazy. It's crazy
when I
how much
stopped
calories.
drinking, so I stopped drinking soda altogether. Like, I never drink soda.
Same. Never ever.
And I started drinking, and I stopped drinking energy drinks. That was the worst
was
habit I had when I was
painful to
active
give up.
duty.
They're so good.
But then I just went to black coffee, and black coffee, and if I want, I'll drink a cup of tea, but that changed everything. I started dropping weight so damn fast. Drinking like 8 cups of water, drinking black coffee, changed everything.
It's crazy. It's crazy the little changes like that. But yeah.
Just a cup of juice these days has like 200 calories in it. I'm like, shit, you
It's
had 3,
bad.
4 of those and you're over your day. Like you had half your amount for the whole day.
No,
Like,
seriously,
shit.
the sugar. That's the thing. Nobody looks at that. Speaking of Swedish sugar,
Oh,
Juan, this
God.
next
I want
video
the Iranians
has
to know
Hilda.
that if I'm the president, we will attack Iran. Whatever stage of development they might be in their nuclear weapons program in the next 10 years, during which they might foolishly consider launching an attack on Israel, we would be able to totally obliterate them. That's a terrible thing to say, but those people who run Iran need to understand that, because that perhaps will deter them from doing something that would be reckless, foolish, and tragic.
Shit.
She knows a thing or two about killing people, so.
Yeah, mark the day I'm actually agreeing with Hillary Clinton. Okay? You know what's funny? The left used to have all of these statements, whether it's Hillary or Bill or Obama, Biden even, about like where they stood on these issues. Now, granted, in actual application, they never actually they never applied the shit they said.
They said it.
But the shit they used to say used to be like, damn, all right, I rock with that. That sounds reasonable. That sounds intelligent. That sounds smart. And and then now you're like, no, we should allow everybody to have nuclear weapons, and death to Israel, and you got friggin' Palestinian protests on college campuses, and they're talking about chopping your child's genitals off, and now the positions on the left have just gone so insane that it's like
The Democratic
you guys
Party,
aren't even reality anymore.
they are not, from what they were 20 or so years ago compared to what they are now, it's extremism, and it's like completely fucking out of whack. It's nothing like what it used to be. And am I saying like I agreed with it? No, but I agreed with it more, growing up and everything like that.
When you hear the libertarians say that Republicans are today what Democrats were 20, 30 years ago,
100%,
I'm
yeah.
like, I can't say you're wrong.
No,
because
seriously.
the talking points of the neocons and the establishment are exactly what the Democrats were 20, 30 years ago. Which the failure of the Republican Party is just being moderately less bad than the Democrats. I'm like, no, try actually just being good. So,
God forbid.
yeah.
Juan, what else do you have for us? If any.
Absolutely love it.
Gold.
Absolutely love that shit. All
Hello,
right.
Savvy. How are you? And
Hi.
how are you?
I am good. How are you guys doing on this Tuesday evening with a
Not too
nuclear
bad.
war in our midst?
Not terrible. Not terrible.
I remember, I think I met you at CPAC 2021 with Juan and Keith. You were interviewing people walking in and out of CPAC and catching people before they go on the red carpet.
I was. I was also one of the only people that refused to wear a mask, and security, I believe, was chasing me around that day, trying to
Yep.
get me to wear a mask. And I would
Yep.
hide in Juan's Right American Media booth because remember, COVID can't pass red velvet ropes. So inside the media booth, you were safe, but when you start walking around, the mask must go on. So
Yep. I remember that I kept walking around with my mask hanging from my ear and a drink in my hand because that was, as long as you were drinking, you didn't have a problem with them harassing you. So I just made sure that I constantly had a cup filled with nothing in my hand.
Just at all times.
Yeah.
until they turned off the water fountains
Yep.
and the AC for a brief period of time to try to, smoke us out?
Yeah. I do remember that. That was wild. But Orlando was definitely the best CPACs ever.
Orlando was the
There were a
craziest
lot of
one, though,
really
with the
good ones.
regulations I've heard out of like
Oh, it
many
was.
in a long time. You'd agree with that, I'm sure, Savvy, as you're talking about the mask situation. I've heard that they went bananas with that one. I wasn't there for that. I know that you guys were.
Oh, it was a good time. You missed out on so much.
Yeah.
They
I-
limited the admission, how many that you could have in. It was terrible. COVID's like a fever dream, honestly. Everything with COVID is such a
was.
fucking fever dream. at this
Remember
point.
the-
I can't
the-
believe we went through it.
murder hornets and toilet paper shortages and stuff. I remember like the biggest thing was everybody was like the national discourse was about eating ass, and then all of a sudden the toilet paper shortage of 2020 and everyone's like, and that's out the window. I was like, whoa, shit. Oh, good times.
Crazy.
Oh,
Crazy
it's
that we lived
about to
through
get started though, because in Austin, Texas, they discovered some mosquitoes that are apparently carrying the West Nile virus. So, COVID
God.
Part 2 or West Nile virus Part 1, we shall see.
Oh, this should be good. There's always something insect related. Didn't Bill Gates release a bunch of insects somewhere that have
Yeah.
malaria in them?
He did.
Recently.
He released a bunch of mosquitoes in Hawaii and in some other various states by the billions for pest control. Because nothing says controlling pests like releasing genetically modified ones into the wild, which we know has absolutely no ecological disaster probabilities that could just essentially just disappear. But who am I to say anything against the multi-billionaire that openly talks about how we're overpopulated and we need a mass genocide in order to control the planet and all of our oxygen and CO2?
Yeah, I look at people like Bill Gates. I'm like, could somebody just take this dude out?
He's a big problem. He's a big part of the problem with all this stuff.
Oh,
honestly.
it's like so freaking disastrous. Mega mosquitoes carrying viruses, genetically engineered insects and stuff. It sounds like shit out of like a comic book villain. Like it's all of a sudden we're living in Marvel.
I feel like he like lurks
But
in the
at
shadows
least
with all
in
this creepy like
Marvel-
eugenic shit that he's doing.
It's very much true, but you got to remember though, at least in Marvel, they actually had like a morality dispute with Civil War about whether or not we should sign over all of our abilities and rights to go help foreign aid in foreign countries. At least Captain America and Iron Man could somewhat have that conversation and debate. These days, it's submit or else.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much where we are right now. It's either submit or you're a racist, Nazi, homophobe, xenophobic. I don't know. I got so many names these days, I can't keep count.
I love the phobic part of it though, because you get called a homophobe, you get called a this phobe. Phobe implies fear, right? None of us are afraid of any of this stuff. I'm not transphobic. I don't have a fear of trans people.
I just wish it would come with superpowers. If I got to be a
Hell yeah.
supervillain, I want superpowers too, you know?
Hell yeah.
I'd like to laser beam a few liberals.
That'd be cool. Would solve a lot of problems.
Certainly would make it more interesting. Me personally, I do have kind of the fear of it because one thing that I've come to slowly understand a little bit more in the past like 2 years is understanding like the demonic spiritual warfare side of our reality right now, which if June has taught me anything, it's that all of these sexual demons truly just come out and ravage and play during this entire month. And so I 100% do fear that because I know that that is not something I would like to mess with. Demons, no thank you. I have a God that's way more powerful than them, but I at least can look at it and go, if it walks like a duck, talks like a duck, quacks like a duck, it's probably a duck.
The whole month itself, Pride Month, Pride being a sin. It's like blaring it in your face with everything.
I'm right there
Literally
with
the
you.
original sin too. Like an angel fell from heaven because he was so prideful and engulfed in himself. If that doesn't maybe explain to us a little bit that we should maybe not be so self-centered in this society and in this world, I don't know what possibly could.
I experienced my first Pride Month when I was active duty. Like we got back from Iraq, we were down at an
military?
Irish pub. Yeah, so I was down in the Gas Lamp in San Diego, the biggest Pride parade in the entire country. And like in the Gas Lamp, I was at this great Irish pub. We got back, we changed over, had some dinner, had a couple drinks. We walk out, like all of a sudden, like a bunch of weirdly dressed people start coming into the bar. And I'm like, what the hell is going on here? And the guy goes, yeah, it's Pride. I'm like, Pride in what? He's like, it's Pride. I'm like, yeah, in what? He goes, just take a look outside, man. I thought it was just a bunch of gay guys, and like, I don't know. I was really good looking at the time. I'm not anymore. I'm old, but at the time, I was like, hey, gay guys buying me free drink. That means I don't got to spend any money on alcohol, by all means. And then all of a sudden, I look outside. I'm like, what the is going on here? He goes, oh, it's all the gay people and the lesbians and stuff all out. And I go, yeah, but that doesn't explain the whips and chains and dog collars and butt naked people running around. He goes, yeah, everything goes during Pride. I'm like, we should probably keep your asses against the wall and scoot the hell out the door. We're gonna escape.
That's because
insane.
it's no longer about pride in your love of a man or of a woman. It's straight up its turn to sexual deviancy.
Yeah.
Which, quite frankly, I could care less if a guy wants to sleep with another guy or if a woman wants to sleep with another woman, or if you're bi, a transsexual, and you were once a woman and now you're a guy, and then you still are in love with a man, which makes you gay, but in reality it makes you straight. Like, it's completely, utterly confusing. But at the same time, like, I don't need to see every part of you as a little strip of leather covers the top and a little strip of leather covers the bottom as you walk around with full-on leashes and dog collars, and there's a guy behind you that you're pulling in a wagon that's whipping you. Like, what child needs to see that? This is when we get to, we used to call it just straight up porn, but now we call it pride.
Yeah, I don't know.
Definition.
I take the position of I don't care what you do. I don't care who you sleep with, what you smoke, what you drink. I don't care who you love, I just don't give a shit. Just don't ask me to pay for it. Don't shove it in my face. Don't try to talk to my kids about it. And we're good. Call it a spade. When we do these, I don't get a parade every time me and my wife do something. I didn't ever got a parade when I came out of the closet as a straight man. It's like, oh, we're going to have a school assembly for you. I ain't get that shit. I got oh my God, you're heterosexual. Damn you. Like, I just don't get it.
Straights are insufferable, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I just don't get it. It's, if you want to tell me, yeah, you have pride in the fact that you're now able to walk out in public without being persecuted, I'm glad that you're not persecuted. I feel for you. You gonna tell me that you want to do your sexual deviancy in public and the government is going to pay for it? Now I got a problem with that.
Big problem with that.
Yeah, you gonna tell me that you want to do it in front of my kids or talk to my kids about it? Now me and you about to have some problems.
That's the biggest thing is I feel like the kids are tremendously being dragged into this stuff more than ever. It went from with, people being gay that they just wanted to be able to get married or whatever. They weren't in the streets like the pride parades in San Francisco with small children thinking they're being virtuous, bringing their small children to these events while people are having sex off to one side, people are naked in another. It's deviancy. It's absolutely crazy. Why do we need to bring the kids into it? Why,
The crazy part
why.
is the L and the B. So the L, the B, and the G, or I'm sorry, the L, the B, and LD, yeah, LGBT, yeah, the first three letters, in the alphabet mafia. Those people, they were just fighting for the right to be able to legally have the same rights as sitting in hospital or legally in the courts as, heterosexual couples. I didn't have a problem with that. But then it was the Q and the T and all the other crap that came in, and they're like, no, you don't, it's not enough to just tolerate us. You have to advocate for us. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm a Christian. I'm not going to advocate for you. That's completely separate. Agreement and advocacy and acceptance are not the same as tolerance.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
This shit's not going to last very long. And I'm so glad because I know these people are going to unite and make it kick back into the shadows where it fucking belongs. People are going to be afraid to say they voted for Trump. People are going to be afraid to admit they're on the right. People are going to be afraid to admit they were ever or are an ICE agent. And I can't wait for that day because I know it's coming.
I'll say this without the septum ring, that's actually a pretty handsome looking dude if he wasn't such a vagina.
I was going to say the septum ring theory checks out.
Disagree on that. That guy looks like daddy's money all day, every day. And on the septum ring thing, down in Texas, what we do with creatures that have those, we clip a halter to them and we lead them around like that because they're acting like an animal.
No, I agree with you. I've never seen a masculine man with a septum ring.
I've never seen a sane person with a septum ring.
There's something.
I say this
for
as
that.
an alternative person too. Like,
I get it. Every time I see somebody get a septum ring, it's like it's in the middle. It's when they let you know that they're on their downward spiral.
Right.
It's like, hey,
I'm fucking insane. Can you tell?
I have issues. Pierce this, pierce a couple this, pierce your eyelids, maybe chain your belly button, your nipples, and your eyelids to your nose.
Absolutely.
No. You can't convince me that any of that is good. And you know what? I had to learn the freaking hard way because I got into politics like full hardcore back when I had all blue hair. I had it rough. Everyone would look at me and go, that's a straight up liberal. I got bullied so bad. They're like, I thought you were a moron until I actually listened to you speak. And then I realized the blue hair didn't mean what I thought it did. And I'm like, that's why we need media literacy.
Yeah.
You can't judge somebody by the way that they look. Because as much as the left wants to say we're all just like white bigots and Christians that just like stuff our religion down other people's throats, the Conservative Party is actually one of the most diverse when you actually want to talk about the cultures and ethnicities and the subculture groups that are in it. Like, for instance, alternative black cow people, conservatives. It's the most interesting thing. And it goes against every single thing that the liberals play against us because 1, person of color, 2, country and conservative, 3, they own guns. And it's like, it baffles them to actually see all these different type of conservatives. One of a very close dear friend of mine is a gay conservative black man.
Yep.
Throws a loop through every single tire spoke that they possibly could put at us.
I love it. I actually conservative, black, own guns. I'm wearing my cowboy boots right now. I listen to country, blues, classic rock. I even listen to opera on occasion. I sing, dance. I can rattle off every lyric to every rap song. I'm a fucking foreign policies. I'm a political strategist. I was like, I'm just going to break every narrative you could possibly think of.
No, there's so many different people. I've gotten so many times that you can't be alternative and you can't be conservative with the appearance I have, with the bright hair, with the tattoos and everything like that. And there's actually a shitload of alternative conservative type people now,
Oh,
but
yeah.
it is such a diverse group and there are so many of us. You could be blonde hair, blue eye, you can be African American, you can be anything. And I think that makes the left freak out a little bit.
Oh,
They
I
can't
was
put us
hanging
in a
out
box.
with Forgiato Blow at CPAC, and we walked into a liquor store to go grab some liquor, and they were like, the MAGA hats are kind of throwing me for a loop. And it's like this hippie chick with dreads and stuff behind the counter. I go, what's wrong about wanting to make America great again? You are American, right?
Right.
She goes, yeah, but, Trump. I go, what? She goes, he's a Nazi. I go, it's funny because nobody's come for me yet. I was like, I don't know. I was told I was going to get deported. We're actually having this podcast in Kenya right now. That's the reality. I got deported. The whites came for me in the dead of the night and shoved unseasoned fried chicken down my throat and purple drink. They locked me in a trunk and shipped my ass to Kenya. We're having the podcast live from Kenya right now.
No way, Jose. No way, you go to USA. No way, Jose. If you don't got no papers, you don't go to USA.
I was forced to the ground. First on my knees, and then flat on my chest.
That's kind of what happens when you get arrested. Especially when you resist
You've
arrest.
never been arrested before?
I have.
They're gonna detain you. That's like the whole point.
Yeah. Like, I've been
I don't
arrested.
know why that's such a concept for people.
Yeah, it's the craziest thing when you get asked to leave, and then you refuse to leave, and then they try to escort you out and ask you to go with them, and then you resist, and then when you put your hands on a law enforcement officer, and then they go to put you in handcuffs, and then you fight them, and then they fight your ass back. You wonder, like, how did it get this far? I don't know. Maybe you should have, like, you were in the wrong from the beginning, and in every step you took from that position was wrong, and you had every opportunity to just comply and follow with the no trespassing and all of that, and you refused. I don't care that you're a senator. I just don't give a shit. You know what? Stop resisting arrest.
People, like, they make it so difficult for themselves when they're doing that shit. People will flip out, and it's like you wonder why this shit's happening to you. Just comply with it.
Yeah,
it's not that
and
hard.
and I'm not the guy who says that we should comply with everything. When they were shutting down synagogues and stuff in New York, I was against that. When cops get used to beat people who were wearing masks, I was against that. When a cop uses excessive use of force, I was against that. Like, I'm nuanced in all this shit. I believe cops should be held accountable.
Absolutely.
If you're an agent of the state, you deserve to be held accountable. I don't care whether you're a teacher. I don't care whether you're a firefighter. I don't care whether you're a cop. I don't care whether you're the FBI, CIA, military, politician. It doesn't matter to me. You're the state. Limited government all the way, baby.
Small, limited.
At what point do we decide, though, that it's truly not worth it anymore? I've been asked that multiple times since 2020, because 2020 I felt like everyone truly was panicking, like, this is it, this is when we're going to have our 1776 part 2, we're going to overthrow the government, like both sides, not just like the liberals or the conservatives. Like, I feel like that was a genuine theme across the board. But I gotta ask, like, we're approaching our 250th, I believe, yes, correct, anniversary, and the average nation doesn't live past 225. So we're already kind of ahead of the curve when it comes to how long empires last, if you could call us that. But at what point do we look around at us and go, all right, this system is flawed, it's broken, still the best one that we got, but there are things that we could dismantle, change, and do for the better. I genuinely think that there are a lot of people out there who have great ideas. They have so much to bring to the table. But I don't think that the average American right now has the media or the political literacy to look past the wolves in sheep's clothing and the people that are genuinely trying to help. Because it's the people that actually care about the average Joe, the guy that works down at the gas station, the lady that works in a Walmart checkout line. It's those people that they're calling Nazis. The ones that have actually been power for over half a century, it's those ones that were like, oh yeah, Bernie Sanders, Joe Biden, Nancy Pelosi. They've been in politics for almost triple that I've been alive. But yes, this time they can fix it. Because that makes sense.
And I say that about the neocons too. Like I'm an equal opportunity excoriator when it comes to these people. I look at it like you've been in politics since the civil rights movement. You need to go. You can't stay awake on the Senate floor. You can't stay awake on the House floor. You're a cur. You don't understand technology. You don't understand the world. You don't understand the things that we're dealing with. The average person in the country wants you gone. We need term limits frickin' yesterday. Yeah. But you know what the reason is? You can boil a frog in a pot as long as you turn up the water you turn up the heat slowly. And the vast majority of people are too self-absorbed in their daily lives. And we've gotten to multiple points where we were about to pop off. It was going to happen. But as long as people can pick up their Twitter machines and they can just zone out to it and doom scroll a little bit.
I don't think as a society we're at a point that anybody would ever get to the point of where we were at in the 1770s. I don't think as a society, I think we are so far gone. I think we're so fucked with everything in the media, social media.
There's too much bread and circus. We're weak.
Yeah, and the system is so fucked up and so flawed. Everything with the politicians and everything within the government, it is so deep, and it would take so much for anything for us to ever change. I think we're just too far gone as a society.
I don't think we're too far gone. I think we've...
Huh?
What was that?
I said we're too comfortable.
Yeah.
Like, this country is so great that even in our quote-unquote, like, worst, lowest times, you can still go to the store and there's a million different types of bread and tofu and meat lined up for you to go purchase. You can still go to the gas station and go get gas. Like, we have so many luxuries in America that most countries can only fathom. We're not uncomfortable enough. Until we get to the point of where it starts actually affecting our immediate lives, no one's going to do a damn thing about it.
Absolutely.
And that's why COVID was the linchpin. If it wasn't going to happen during COVID, it's not going to happen. And if it's going to happen, it's going to happen during another COVID. This time, we were lucky because the markets rebounded. Eventually, people pulled back from the abyss, and Democrats didn't have a choice because the polling was going radically in the opposite direction.
Right.
They just had to stop. But now, the next time it happens, I'm going to be honest, I'm going to fuck around and find out Republican. I'm not going to play nice. And I don't care whether you're wearing a badge, a suit, or body armor. When you come to take my rights, you better get right with God.
But, like, when does that happen? You know what I mean? So we had a situation like COVID, right? Wouldn't you think if something of that level or magnitude was going to happen, it might be a little while? Like, we're all going to be old age at that point?
No.
Do you see something happening that quickly?
Yeah.
Of that, yeah?
Yeah, because the Democrats, I've always said Democrats will agree on 9 out of 10 things before they start to fight over the 10th thing. Republicans will fight over the one thing we disagree on before we work together to get the 9 out of 10 things passed. Republicans, especially if we don't win back the House, the following 2 years of Trump's presidency are going to be a lame duck presidency where he's not going to be able to get shit done except for executive orders. He's going to have impeachment hearings nonstop, and they're going to be able to repeal all the executive orders as soon as he's out of office, and we're going to be right back to where we were during Biden.
Yeah,
because the Doge cuts haven't been passed. The vast majority of the shit that he needs to get done, he doesn't have enough time to get done, and the GOP is sackless like a bunch of eunuchs. So that's what we're dealing with right now. And when it comes to that, you know, if we go through another Biden administration, I think we're going to get there because the left is so close to their proletariat revolution. That's all it takes. Yeah. Especially if we have a real summer of love that goes months, not just a weekend, and they try to extend that into the following year. Yeah, you're going to see it.
What crimes have they committed?
Trump?
Yeah, the ones in the Oval Office. What crimes have those people committed?
You want to look it up on Wikipedia? There's like a list.
Well, you made the sign, so I'm asking you.
It's true. I'm at a protest, though.
Yeah.
I don't need to know anything. I'm here for my community.
Okay, so you make a sign about people being criminals, but you don't know what you made it for?
All right, so... I make a sign supporting my community and the people in it. Yeah. And I'm not ashamed.
I know. You shouldn't be ashamed of your sign. I'm just asking what crimes they have committed.
I don't have to list them to you. You can simply look it up.
Have you done research? It's all over the media. Yeah, so I was just asking him, he's holding the sign, if he could just tell me what crimes people in the Oval Office have committed. You're holding it, so I thought maybe you could give it to me quickly.
I'm good.
There's no
The
literacy
epitome
in this
of what
country
these
anymore.
protests
I blame
are.
public school.
I blame public school too.
It sucks. Nothing government institutionalized has ever worked out in the history of this country. You'd think we would learn that by now, but apparently we are the definition of insanity, which is doing the same damn thing over and over and over again and expecting a different result.
I've said it continuously. Woodrow Wilson was successful with the whitewashing of the education system. Like, Black History Moment. Carter G. Woodson, a Black Republican, was the founder of Black History Month. He founded it. Gerald Ford turned Negro History Week into Black History Month, also a Republican. The purpose of it was to bring white people and black people together by teaching that we had more in common than we had different. By humanizing black people during a time when the country was divided over racial issues. And he was successful for a while. And as soon as but Marxists run our education system, so then they weaponized the history, and the first Congressional Black Caucus were all the Marxists during the Civil Rights Movement that took over the movement. So when you don't know history, you end up, you're doomed to repeat it.
Yeah.
What's up, fuckers? I'm with United States ICE, and today we're detaining every single Juanito and Diego. Say adios tu abuela and pack your chanclas. Let us get
I
it,
love
boys.
these videos.
I love them so
Who wants
much.
some free Modelos? The good old free Modelos trick. Gets them every time, boys. Boys, we got over 300 illegals today. Shit looked like a Kent's after party got raided. Puro llorando, yelling, and somebody still passed out in the corner.
Damn.
No papeles, pero mamacitas así get a temporary visa from Bigfoot. Don't worry, boys. We don't deport Latina baddies.
All right, boys, that's it for today. My mamacita got me limpito, ya tú sabes. Like and follow me, gente. I love you, my nigga.
Those videos are the greatest thing that's happened to TikTok in
I
the
love
longest time.
those videos.
They're so funny.
Although,
AI.
deport the Latina
But it adds
baddies
to the
too.
brain rot.
Deport the Latina baddies too. I'm all set. If you're illegal, get the hell out. No exceptions.
Don't stop at just illegal Mexicans. Like, I'm just saying,
Yeah.
didn't Iran just recently threaten that they had over 1,000 sleeper cells in America? Can we get rid of everybody?
Yeah.
Everyone needs
Every
to
single
go.
illegal. I don't care. I don't want white European socialists here. I don't want South African socialists here. I don't want African socialists here. I don't want Mexican, Hispanic. I don't want anybody here who's illegal. Get the hell out. If you're not American.
Of Iranian sleeper cells. We've talked about the open border the last 4 years. Take a look at this data. CBP sources telling Fox News from 2021 to 2024 under the Biden administration, just over 1,500 Iranians were caught by Border Patrol crossing the southern border illegally. Of that, almost half of them, 729, were released into the U.S. That is 48%. That also does not account for the more than 2 million known gotaways who slipped across the southern border during that time. For more on this and the potential threats to the homeland,
I'm
Tom
sorry.
Homan.
Our previous administration is jack shit. Because you can't seriously tell me that administration know full well who was a terrorist, who was a suspected terrorist, and then who was just like a random Joe Schmo. And they released them? Like, the catch and release policies under the Obama administration are nonsense. Because you don't catch a fish and release it onto land. You catch it and you throw it back to where it came from.
Yeah.
They should go back. You don't release them into America to commit how many homicides against, your average little 17-year-old white girl in America that just so happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time and some Mexican illegal decided to go do something. That's not racist. That's just a fact because those headlines happen way too often. And you would think that we as Americans would be able to agree on that one thing, but no.
No, this is actually exactly why Donald Trump got a decent percentage of the black vote this term, was because immigration was hitting our communities hard as hell. They were putting them in our school gymnasiums. They were taking the services that we pay into. They were taking jobs. They were freaking like, and then they were taking over apartment buildings and shit. Like, eating cats and dogs and stuff. Like, come on,
This
man.
happened in Roxbury, so it's an African American or black neighborhood in Boston. And there was a center that a bunch of kids that they were going to do sports at. It was a community center. Everybody in the neighborhood would use that, and they were housing illegal immigrants, and they were targeting the black communities in Boston. In Massachusetts, you know, Maura Healey is huge, and so is Michelle Wu, the mayor of Boston, on harboring and in keeping these criminals here. So they were taking away from, they would go to the more impoverished communities or the cultural communities first to put the immigrants there. And the community started getting really pissed off about it.
You know what I did?
Tried to hide it and sweep it under the rug.
That's one of those situations where when the Democrats, when the black Dems on the left, the black-faced Dems, were talking about promoting illegal immigration and saying they're immigrants. No, they're not. Immigrants come here legally.
Right.
But when they're talking about the immigrants, I go, so you're pro-Democrat, not pro-black, right? You're pro-Democrat, not pro-American, right? Because no American would justify screwing over Americans in favor of illegal immigrants. I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. And what they did with this shit was absolutely freaking ridiculous. Yeah, like, that's why Trump got so much black support, was you have black men online going, no, not in my community, not my daughter, not my school, not my town. You're not taking our services. Hell no.
I took my 8-year-old daughter to work on Take Your Kid to Work Day, but as soon as we walked in, she started crying. So I asked her what was wrong, and in front of everyone, she said, "Mommy, where are all the clowns you said you worked with?" So now.
That's funny.
You
know,
were
that
saying
reminds me
before
though of
that.
a TikTok that.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, that's what I was
Well,
about
what
to
I was
ask
gonna
you.
say was I had seen a TikTok probably back when, you know, all the ducks and dogs and cats were getting eaten. But it was really interesting. This lady in the black community who was a truck driver, she was talking about the reason why so many black people voted for Trump this year. And it was basically, she straight up said, she's like, because they're shipping them to our black communities. And the black community got pissed off because no one destroys the black community but the black community. And she was joking, but not really. Because it was kind of interesting that they were talking and she was showing all these clips and videos of all these illegals coming in, starting, you know, dumpster fires to literally roast animals in alleyways and in the middle of the street out in front of everybody. And she's like, yeah, everyone kind of got pissed because if someone's going to destroy this area, it's going to be us, not these people. They can go and destroy their own. And even though it was a joke, every joke kind of has some truth to it, and it is kind of interesting because then in the same breath you see the headlines from CNN and Fox where they're like, it's a lie, no one's eating the ducks in the park. Skip to a video of men literally going out to our beautiful communities, catching ducks and breaking their necks right in front of everybody.
Yep. Equal opportunity excoriator. I hate people who victimize their communities. I don't care what color you are. Like, hell no. I don't care whether you're a gangbanger or a cartel member. Get the hell out. Go to jail.
No. No.
That's good.
Iran
That is gold.
is basically the youngest child that's in a piss poor mood because he didn't get his way. Israel's the overworked eldest sibling that's had to parent way too many countries around it and is just officially fed up. And Trump is the divorced dad who's probably warned us about 5 times now to stop touching that. And he is just officially pissed. Like, have y'all seen the audios on the clips coming out from Trump recently?
Oh, yeah.
He is fed up.
Oh, yeah.
Dad's
Like,
mad.
he's about to get out the belt and start whooping somebody.
Honestly, I kind of wish Trump would have that WWE moment where he comes out and just Stone Cold Stunner somebody.
He already did back when, you know, all of Hollywood liked him. The dude was on every single show ever. He literally tackled one of the WWE, what do they call the announcers. Straight up in front of everyone.
Vince
Back when
McMahon.
he was a Democrat, an 80s Democrat.
Yeah, back when it was Vince McMahon, I used to watch wrestling back in the day. That's why when people try to tell me he's racist, they couldn't, like, you can't convince me Trump is racist. I've been a Republican my whole life. This dude been hanging out with rappers, with Oprah, with everybody for his whole damn life. He actually supported civil rights movements and shit.
Yeah.
He actually even supported gay marriage back in the day.
He had a gay wedding at Mar-a-Lago not that long
he
ago.
desegregated Mar-a-Lago too.
He was also one of the first Florida club owners to actually allow people of color in their club, because once upon a time it literally was whites only.
Yep.
Trump was one of the very first people that said, no, we're not doing that anymore. You got money, you want to spend it here? I don't care what you are colored. Your money is still green.
Exactly. That's America, baby.
We've just arrived in the colonies because there was some bitching over a tiny 3% tax. Not that big a deal, but whatever, this shit'll be easy.
What the actual fuck? Where the hell are they? Unless they're lined up 10 feet in front of me wearing bright blue uniforms, I can't see them. These guys are such assholes. What kind of a dickhead doesn't line up in a straight line and patiently take turns shooting one another?
Sir, these colonials are worse than gonorrhea. They hide behind trees and pick us off while we pass through single file wearing bright red. And you would know, Corporal, even though we're the superpower of the world, we still don't know how to counter this ingenious tactic of hiding behind trees.
God damn, we've been here 8 years and are just getting our shit pushed in. These boys weren't kidding. They really do hate taxes.
Okay, this is our last stand. We may have a chance if we just... Nope. Shit. Never mind, those ass-smelling French are here. I'm here in place of Cornwallis, because apparently he's really sick today, to deliver terms of surrender to that giant stud right there.
We could use a little bit more George Washington.
Get a little more 1776 up in here.
Yeah, we definitely could.
Even
I love
the
that.
French. Like, we totally make fun of the French these days for being an absolute pansy in the EU, which they are, no doubt. But once upon a time, like, America was struggling, and Marquis de Lafayette was like, bet, where, when and where? Just tell us. We're on the way.
That was
Over
the French
3
best
steps.
moment.
Like,
Yeah, that
and
was
now-
their best moment in their history, was supporting the United States.
Oh, yeah. That was the best move they ever made, because for once it actually shown that maybe they had some balls up in there. They've completely retracted. Like, they're gone, shriveled up, raisin size now. But, you know, once upon a time, we used to all be tough, macho men. And now, income tax, property tax, sales tax. Your dollar, by the time you get done with taxes, it's what? Couple cents, maybe? And you know what's interesting? Our American mints aren't even making pennies anymore. Because with the ridiculous inflation right now, it costs 37 cents to make a singular penny. If that doesn't tell you how screwed we are right now, I don't know what will.
Savvy, I miss hearing you talk and hearing your input on everything. Are you still doing social media, or where are you at now? Are you podcasting? What are you doing these days? I missed hearing you.
I would really like to get back into podcasting right now. I kind of took a hiatus because I'm graduating college right now. I started
Congrats.
my horse breeding program. I got 9 horses. I got a ranch to run. So life kind of took off for me. And so I've been focusing on that a little bit. But once I get Nextlink or Starlink hooked up to our ranch that's in the middle of freaking nowhere, which is amazing, I need to get back on podcasting. Because honestly, politics, I needed to take a break because I don't know how people do this for half a century without truly turning evil, because it is a freaking lot. Quite frankly, I don't know how people don't do this without God. Because without, like, a good, perfect morality that gives you, like, a hope and a future, I don't know how you can look at this blatantly evil, disgusting career field and go, yes, that's what I want to surround myself with for the next 5 to 50 years.
And people lose themselves in the enemy, right? So maybe they did have that relationship at one point, and then the money, the power, that gets put in front of their faces, and they get sucked into it.
It is soul crushing. It really is, because
it's a dirty world.
Everybody
it's a dirty
you
fucking world.
meet will eventually lie to you, betray you, stab you in the back, leave you for dead. It is a cesspool, a snake pit. It gives swamp a bad name. Like it's just it's so disgusting. Politics is. I you know, like I said, equal opportunity excoriator. I've been a Republican my whole life, and I'm a Frederick Douglass Republican. So like I'm about as radical as it gets.
Mm-hmm.
And I look at both sides of the aisle, and I'm like, I can't even have a rational discussion with you people. You are void of nuance. You don't know shit about history. And you're doomed to repeat the same mistakes over and over again. It is a constant freaking battle. And then the average citizen just doesn't have enough time to pay attention.
Mm-hmm.
Or at least they think they don't.
Well, they don't want to put the energy into it.
We don't, though, because we have jobs. Like, I don't understand how, like, No Kings the other day, y'all were out there for like 8 to 12 hours.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I can barely find an hour to myself. I have 9 horses to work. I have clients. I have students. I haven't got a minute to myself every day because I have bills to pay, horses to feed, things that I need to buy to feed all my kids. Like, I don't know how they find the time to protest this much, to riot this much, to be on social media that much.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it makes you truly wonder what is going on in their head mentally. Like, I truly understand now why the liberals are known for their mental illness, because you cannot be surrounded by that much evil, blatant disgustingness, and just repulsive spirits and demons without truly losing your mind. Like, even
Which
I had
they
to take a
have.
break for it because it was too much, but like them, now I know why they're all mentally ill, because goodness, pray for their souls.
Well, it's the doom scroll. You know, people tune into the algorithmic abyss, and you know, once you go down that rabbit hole and it feeds you 40, 50 times of whatever you're looking at, you come back up for air, and your entire mind and perception of reality is completely warped. If I didn't do this for a job, if I wasn't a political strategist, if I wasn't an author, and I didn't have to do 20 hours of constant feeding through news cycles and policy and research and shit, I would be out hanging out with my, like, I'm married, I got 3 kids. Between politics and my kids, I don't have any extra time.
Mhm.
I couldn't be out there protesting and shit.
Well, people are supposedly paid to be there, but obviously that's not the entirety of the whole situation. But it's a lot of like boomer old people, and then it's like the younger generation. But to waste your time, your precious time, to go and do something like that is absolutely fucking insane. So you're not being paid to be there, just to go and show up for that. I can think of a million things I'd rather do.
Our last guest called it the Blue Klux Klan. He called it the Blue Klux Klan.
like
They
that.
come out in the bourgeois leftists who comes out. They got the money to spend. They got the time to take off. They have the ability to fund the protests and shit. And then you got the radicals, which is why they go after the college kids, right?
Right.
Because college kids, you know, you could skip a class and go out all day for a protest. Hell, your professor might even give you credit for it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, some do. I cannot tell you how many times that I have seen assignments where you can, you know, write the 1,000, 1,500 word paper, which personally, that's my cup of tea. Or you can go to this protest and rally. Full credit. Go to it. You don't know what it's about. You don't know what it's for. Just go to it.
Yeah.
And you'll get credit. And we live in this stupid society where these dumb letters and these little 4.0, 1.2 numbers and GPAs mean so much to us that kids my age are desperate to actually get that A, to get that extra point for our GPA, because for some reason we've put so much value on those letters that without that degree, that stupid piece of paper, you're essentially worthless in the society. But then guess what? Once you get that paper, you can't find a damn job to save your life. But that guy that couldn't sit still in high school, that girl that just would never focus in class, the ones that all went to the trades, they're making bank. Welders, plumbers, electricians, the people that we actually need to survive, not the people who study gender studies or African dance. Like, hate to break it to y'all, but you're not that important.
Yep.
No.
Hey, I went into the Marines. Then I did private executive protection, celebrity protection, then DOD security. Then I built houses and poured concrete while getting into politics. And now I work full-time in politics as a political strategist. I even ran for office. I just, you know, I make far more money doing it this way. I mean, I went to college. I was a semester shy of finishing my degree. But I make far more money than if I had.
Went right into trades, started working when I was 18 years old, if not earlier. I'm working ever since. I do well for myself now. The trades you can make a lot of money doing it, stuff in the trades. I feel like these kids, you know, they're convinced they have to go to school, go to college, get in, get the degree. You come out, you're immediately in debt. You're a slave to the banks, like you're a slave to the system. You're getting an entry-level job that you're not making any money at. It's the system. It's completely the system.
I literally had a friend that went to school to get a different degree so she could get a job to pay off her original student loans.
That's insane.
Oh, shit.
I can't comprehend it. Like, I am very blessed to be completely debt-free with my schooling. I'm not going to use it, though. I'm a horse trainer in Texas. Like, I need to be a little bit more, how you say, durable. I need to be able to be thrown off a horse and not, like, break all my internal organs and bones. I don't need to know what this one particular teacher in Virginia had to say about my paper that she gave a D to because I ended it with "let's make the earth green again." Like, at the end of the day, that lady's opinion on that paper is not going to help me in my career field.
Agreed.
None of it is.
Savvy, it was so good having you on here. I loved having you on. You'll have to pop back on again at some point. I loved having you. I appreciated you taking the time out of your night to come on here. What time is it over in Texas? What time are you right now? 9?
I think I popped on here at like 9:30. I can't really see my clock right now, but Juan like texted me and he was like, "Do you want to come on?" And I was like, "For old time's sake, absolutely. Anything for you, Juan. Love you."
No, thank you so much for coming on, Savvy. I appreciate it. I loved having you here. I loved hearing your input and your perspective. You're a very, very smart individual, and I loved hearing you talk. So thank you so much.
Yeah, it's nice getting to see
And
you.
it was good to see all of you again. It's been a hot minute. We shouldn't have let this much time pass before Right America Media like has a family reunion.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yes. Don't be a stranger, girl.
We won't. All right, y'all have a good rest of your evening.
You as well. Bye, Savvy.
Bye.
It's been a good show. We've
Yeah,
talked.
it has.
There's been a lot of good stuff up here. A little doom scrolling. Savvy's great. I haven't heard or seen from her in a little while, but she's always good to hear from. I feel like a lot of good conversation on the show tonight. A lot of good conversation. I appreciate you stepping in.
Oh, no problem.
I appreciate
Glad
it.
to be back.
Yeah. Well, we're going to wrap this up here. We are streaming here live every Tuesday. Check us out. Facebook, X, ramtv.live. You can find us. Call in at some point, 833-603-8255. I am at The Pretty Patriot, Julie. And do you want to plug your socials? You're all over social.
Oh, yeah. Julian Aciard 1. I'm on X. Blue Collar Intellectual on every platform. Go ahead and look for me. I'm on Twitter. I'm on, X, TikTok, Instagram. And podcast is now on Spotify and all that stuff. So
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Check it out. All right, my friends. We'll leave you with one more video. Until next week, it's been real. Be safe.
Ah!